Hello and good morning. Welcome along once again to this YouTube production on Andy Holding's speedfigures.co.uk. Andy here taking a look at Nace's cracking card this afternoon over jumps beginning at 12 o'clock. We've got some good graded action for you as well there today, plus several decent handicaps to get our teeth stuck into. The first race is very intriguing, none more so with Captain Kangaroo added to what looks also a very strong looking lineup. The sort of standard bearer is Gabby Nacco from the Gavin Cromwell stable. Comes out really well on our time figures, courtesy of a couple of runner-up spots so far this season. And he's a useful horse, but whether he's going to be as good enough to beat Captain Kangaroo very much caught my eye when he won on his only start in a bumper at Clonmel towards the back end of last season. Actually, I think it was the day before lockdown. He's open to question because I do think Willie Mullins' charge is potentially top class, particularly as he goes over further. He looked very much a stayer to me, ground out that result at Clonmel, but it was a very strong gallop. And if they go a good pace here today, this stiff track will definitely play into his strengths. Either way, it's a really good starting point for Captain Kangaroo. If he doesn't win today, it'll only be because of the trip. And I certainly think he's definitely going to be the one to take out of this race going forward. He is the pick today, even though, like I say, Gabby Nacco sets a fair stand. And Envious Editor, for that matter, he comes out third of a very good race last time out, which I believe is a good race. That Irascible, who beat him, I think he could be a top class horse in the making. So plenty of intrigue in that opening race, and it's a good starting point for the rest of the card. Next race is a Grade 2. Probably not the strongest Grade 2 I've ever seen, but there's a couple of interesting horses in it amongst it either way. Obviously, Garza Noir is an unknown quantity. I watched some of his replays back over in France. He was a good winner at Auteuil when last seen, but won with plenty in hand, but just don't know how good he is. I noticed he was entered in the Raw Bond, so that certainly suggests that William Mullins thinks he's got plenty of potential going forward. So he could be quite difficult to beat. He's been chalked up 11-10, whereas I do think Indiana Jones could offer a little bit of value around about the 3-1, 7-2 mark. He was very impressive visually and on the figures when winning at Cork. This setup, those colours, the sort of pink and white with the black sleeves. I think it's Radcore, isn't it? The ownership group. They seem to have got a real good strength in depth. Pencil full of lead over fences, and quite a few novices coming through from the point-to-point field. So they've obviously bought well. Mouse Morris has acquired this horse, and as I said, he looks a real chasing type, and he clocked a big time when he won at Cork. So I think a bet either with or without the favourite there for Indiana Jones is probably the way I'd go there in the 12:30. Cracking race, the Poplar Square Chase, Grade 2 at 2 minutes past 1. We've got representatives out of last year's Arkle. Fakir Dudaris, who was second, obviously Notebook, who was a disappointment, and Cashback, who fell when he was beat. Classic case here is which one of these three is going to be fit to do themselves justice first time out. If pressed, I'd probably go with Fakir Dudaris just because of the fact that his overall profile and record is slightly more trustworthy, if you like, than the other two, albeit they're very talented on the days. You can see by our figures as well. They're very, very tightly knit. There's only a couple of spots either way. But the odd mistake here, then everywhere. A little bit of lack of fitness will probably be the telltale sign there. But I'll probably go with Fakir Dudaris, but mouth-watering race all the same. 137. This is a cracking race, this Brownlow handicap, always much sought after. Kilfenor won this race last year, trained by Edward Harty. And it's interesting that Edward's got a horse called Damalesque lurking down the foot of the weights here. And I think this horse could be potentially well handicapped. He hasn't been seen out for quite a while over hurdles, 798 days to be precise. But he's run the other day on the flat, was a very eye-catching one. He finished second to Mount Leinster, who's a 90 rated horse on the flat, actually 97 rated horse on the flat, and a very good horse over hurdles, as we know. Back in third was the name's Run for Oscar was fourth, who's won since over hurdles. So that was a very deep race, and he went through the race like a good horse. That was a mile and a half on soft ground, so that should have blown away the cobwebs. And it's interesting that JP McManus has got the top two in here, perhaps just to keep the weights down. Who knows? You never know what JP's up to in these kind of races. Any second now in Morosini. So this one's lurking off 10 stone 2 with Simon Torrance taking 5 off. I'll be surprised if he's not a bit of a gamble this morning, or that could certainly run well under the radar. There's obviously lots of horses in good form. Dinard Rose, Red Jerry, Barnavadoon is in good nick. That's quite a nice horse. But I do think that Damalesque is a potential blot on the weights, let's say. So he'd be my tentative choice there in the 137. The 212, the maiden, Statlow is probably the one I go with here. He got the top figure courtesy of a bumper last season. He finished second to a horse called On, I think it's On My Wings or something like that, on Eagles Wings. That's the one. I couldn't wrap my brain to think of it. On Eagles Wings, who's won subsequently this season. So that form is very good. He looks a nice stayer in the making. Again, this trip around this track should be fine. First time out, 2 mile 3. Decent opposition against him, Vanilla and Fantosio Delane, but I do like Statler. I think he's quite a nice horse going forward. The 247, I'd probably go with Fagan Bealock, number 8 on the race card. Easy for me to say. Arthur Moore's charge. They dropped him back in trip last time out around Conmel, and he just didn't handle the track, the tight track there. But he was good the time before, clocking a good number when he won over 2 mile 3 at Downpatrick. This stiffer track, wider open spaces will definitely suit him. I think he's been slightly overpriced this morning, around about 7 to 1. So a decent each way bet down at Fagan Balak. And then we've got the beginners chase. It's not last but not least here. This is a very, very good race. Janadil, 5th in the Albert Bartlett. Longhouse Poet, of course, he was down the field in the Ballymore. And then we've got Cedarwood Road at the top as well. I think he's quite a smart horse going forward. He beat Beacon Edge on his last start here over hurdles. I know he's very highly regarded, and they've always regarded him as a chase as well, and he's a big unit. So decent bit of competition there for Janadil, who obviously represents a stable who are doing really well in this division. But I do like that Cedarwood Road, and he might just have a ton of pace or too much pace for some of these who ostensibly are 3 mile chases in the making. So I'll take a chance with that Cedarwood Road there. But a fascinating card, lots of intrigue along the way, right the way from the first race with Captain Kangaroo, all the way down to the last with Cedarwood Road. 1 or 2 nice little bets scattered in amongst it. So hopefully we should have a decent day. We're going to be covering another decent jump card tomorrow. So hopefully you can tune in again for another YouTube production from Andy Holding, speedfigures.co.uk. Until tomorrow, it's bye for me for now.